Hi, my name is Robert Shelley, and I'm an attorney with Shelley Law, the founder of Out of Residency, and I assist physicians and fellows with their first employment contract. Today I'm going to talk about the first signing bonus that you may receive when you are finished with training. So the first question, does everyone, meaning every employer, pay a signing bonus for anyone just coming out of training? The short answer is not everyone, but I would say 90% of any position should pay a signing bonus. And it would be extraordinarily rare if they didn't offer any kind of bonus at all. Now, the amount of that bonus and then how it is paid, and then whether there is some kind of repayment obligation if you leave early, can vary greatly based upon a couple of things. One, what specialty you're in. Two, where the job is, and we'll kind of go into that in a second. And then how long is the term of the initial contract? So when would you negotiate the signing bonus? Obviously, what will happen is some employers will present a letter of intent first, which kind of details the big ticket items in any employment contract. Once an agreement is reached upon those, then they'll follow up with an employment agreement where it'll have the details of everything. I would suggest negotiating the signing bonus up front, meaning before you sign the letter of intent. Now, just because you sign a letter of intent doesn't mean you're stuck with that number. But I can just tell you that employers don't appreciate when they reach an agreement on big ticket terms, compensation, signing bonus, the non-compete, tail repayment obligations, that type of thing. And then the physician comes back after they've seen the employment agreement and wants to make big changes. So you need to negotiate the amount up front. Now, if somebody offers you an amount that you're unhappy with, what's the best way of dealing with that? So let's say you're being offered a $20,000 signing bonus and you'd like 40,000. Well, generally you don't just ask for 40,000. You would ask for a little bit more. I tend not to play that game where you just ask for an insane amount and then bargain your way down. I just think it looks unprofessional. So whatever the amount is that you have in mind, a little bit above that would make sense, and then potentially negotiate down. When it is paid is also important, especially for people coming out of training, for a couple of reasons. Most jobs will pay the signing bonus with the first paycheck when you commence providing services. When you're coming out of training, you don't have a ton of money. You're just simply not making a lot of money during training, and so having 20 or 30,000, or potentially significantly more, prior to moving to a new city, a new job, can really help defray the cost. Now, the employer is most likely going to pay for your moving expenses as well as the signing bonus, but still having that amount can really help out with security deposits for new. If you're going to rent, or even going towards a down payment for a house. So when you receive the payment, can be negotiated as well. So I would suggest asking them to provide the payment upon signing the document. So you're not just going to sign the document on the first day that you show up at the job. You're going to sign it well in advance. And so receiving that amount upon execution of the document gives you more money up front, kind of allows you a little more flexibility. Now, some people may try to break it up into different payments. So for instance, it might be, you get paid half upon commencement and then half after, a year with the job. I wouldn't accept that either. If they're going to give you a true signing bonus, then it shouldn't be broken up over time. You should just get the entire amount. So don't let them offer multiple payments for one signing bonus. It should be, this is the signing bonus, and I should get it upon signing the actual contract. Now, Every signing bonus is also going to have with it repayment obligations. So what this would mean is if you leave before a certain period of time, you may have to pay back a portion of the signing bonus. Most of the time, it's tied to the initial term of your contract. So the initial term simply means how long the contract lasts. And so most physician contracts will have a term of somewhere between 1 to 3 years. I've seen as long as 5, but 1 to 3 is kind of a normal amount. And the employer will usually say, okay, if you leave before the end of the first year, you have to pay back the entire amount of the signing bonus. And then let's say maybe if you stay for, if you leave between the first and second year, you'd have to pay back, 50%. And then if you have to maybe leave between the second and third year, you'd have to pay back, 25% or a third. It can be broken up into a whole bunch of different ways. It's going to be either annual, quarterly, or monthly forgiveness. You want the shorter amount of forgiveness. So let's say you have a 3-year initial term. They say you have to stay for 3 years and then you won't have to pay anything back. It behooves you to have monthly forgiveness. So 1/36 of the signing bonus would be forgiven every month. And then you get through the 3 years, you don't have to repay anything back. And the reason why that's better than yearly forgiveness is obvious. You have to stay, if it's a yearly forgiveness, you have to stay for the entire year. So you could leave in the 11th month, have worked for nearly the entire year, but then have to pay back the entire, prorated amount, versus if it's a monthly repayment, it'll go all the way up until, the month that you leave. So instead of having to pay back, let's just say it's a yearly forgiveness over 3 years. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. If you left in the 11th month of the third year, you'd still have to pay back a third, whereas if it was a monthly forgiveness, you'd only have to pay 1/36 back if you left in the 11th month. It's just makes sense to try to get the prorated repayment interval as small as possible. Now, what is a fair amount of a signing bonus? As I said before, this varies based upon geography and specialty. You will usually be able to get a bigger signing bonus if you are working in an area that's difficult to recruit to. So if you're going to work in a rural community that has a very difficult time bringing in physicians, and then even greater, it could be a rural community that has a very difficult time bringing in physicians in your specialty, you could get a significantly higher signing bonus than you could if you're working, in a big city where there's thousands of other physicians in your specialty, and maybe it's a desirable location, so there's more, competition for those jobs. It's just economics that you won't be able to have as much negotiating power if you're in a place where tons of other physicians want to work as well. It's like San Diego, Phoenix. It's the warm weather cities where people, love to live. As far as gauging whether it's fair or not, I think asking colleagues that are coming out of training with you, so people in your program, everyone's looking for a job simultaneously, and not everyone is going to look in the same place. It's very unlikely you'll stay, in the same hospital where you're doing training. And so you'll have a sample of, places from all over the country. So ask your colleagues, ask mentors who have come out of training, what they received. I find that's kind of the best way of gauging where to go. But as I said before, it can really vary greatly based upon where you're looking. There are some states that will subsidize, in very rural states, will assist in subsidizing either with a huge student loan repayment, which you could kind of consider a signing bonus, or a signing bonus and student loan repayment. If you really want to pay off everything very quickly, you should look into a rural community. You can, I don't know if cleanup's the right word, but you could have a signing bonus and student loan repayment maybe like 6 times what you would get if you were moving into a bigger city. So that's a little breakdown of a physician's first signing bonus. If you have any questions about that or your employment contract, feel free to contact my law firm at the phone number listed below in the description, or you can reach us through our website. I have a ton of videos on various topics for physicians. Excuse me. So I would suggest you take a look around the channel, and we may already have the answer to the question that you're going to ask. So appreciate you watching the video. Thanks.